All right, here with Braylon Mullins, and there's a lot of stuff going on with your recruiting, so I wanted to catch up with you. It's been kind of a crazy time. You got a Purdue offer, you got a North Carolina offer. Just kind of explain, why do you think that's happened for you? Obviously, you're getting recruited at a high level anyway, but it's really kind of taken off in this last week or so.
After the 3SSB stuff, this was the first live period, and all the coaches showed out, and I felt like I put on a good performance for all of them, and just showed what I was capable of doing the whole weekend. And I got a whole bunch of phone calls yesterday, and I felt like that it was definitely a good thing for me. And it was a lot of it was unexpected, but I'm grateful for it.
I know a lot of people kind of were wondering, like, why isn't Purdue offered at this point? Normally they're in early, and they were in early with you, but kind of explain that process, because they were talking to you about, hey, if we, just tell a little bit about how that transpired.
They told me that they had no scholarship offer or option for me. They were out of scholarships, and then Coach Painter called me yesterday and told me that there was an opportunity, open slot for me. So he offered me on the spot. So I felt like it was a lengthy conversation. It was a little confusing for my part, but he kind of explained it very well. So I'm definitely grateful for it.
And North Carolina, I know they had a chance to see you play, and anytime I think North Carolina's involved, and it becomes kind of a national recruitment for sure. But did you expect that? What was kind of the relationship there?
I definitely didn't expect it. I thought I was going to be talking to one of the assistant coaches when I got the phone call, but when I answered the phone call, it was Coach Davis, and it was a 30-minute conversation telling me he loved my game, and that he wanted to build a relationship with me, and he told me that he was offering me a scholarship, and I'm extremely grateful for it.
And I know some other schools have been in contact, Michigan State included in that group. Who are some of the new ones that have reached out in the recent days?
So Michigan State, Ohio State, Kansas, Baylor, UConn, UNC, and Virginia. I think those are 7 or 8 that reached out, and then Creighton 9. So
okay. And then we were talking a little bit beforehand about maybe why this has happened the way it has, and like I said, I always thought you were an athlete who could also, and I think people maybe see you and they're like, he's a shooter. But has that athleticism kind of got through to some coaches, do you think? Or?
Yeah, definitely. it's like the fast break stuff. I can show them that I can dunk the ball, and I feel like that's a good thing to show to the coaches and show that I'm just not a shooter. But I definitely expressed the passing and defensive level in the 3SSB, and I feel like I put on a little show with that. And that's the 3 things that stood out was the shooting, the passing, the defense, and I feel like that's the 3 things you need to show what you're about.
I know you've got some, obviously there's schools like IU and Notre Dame and others you've developed a long relationship with. How do you kind of assess, I've built those relationships, and now you're getting this new interest, but I'm sure those schools still are very important to you. What's your relationship been like with those and the others who have offered you previously?
I've built the relationships with all the schools that I've been talking to for the last 6 months. I'm good friends with all the coaches, and I respect all their opinions. But I'm trying to build new relationships with the new coaches, and then see what best suits me. And I'm all ears for every program, and see what's best for me.
And I know that could possibly change your recruitment as far as when you decide to commit. Kind of what's the latest on that, and what's your visit schedule looking like?
So I'm taking Michigan official June 3rd and a UConn visit June 24th this summer, and then I'm trying to get an IU official sometime early fall. But I wanted to cut my list down by the end of summer, end of AAU, and see where I can go from there. And then I may push back my commitment timeline, because I was going to try to commit before senior year, but I may 50-50 that. I may go longer than that.
And I know some talk about, you play with Trent, Malachi, you get a good relationship with those guys. How much do you talk about the process of recruiting, and maybe some of the similar schools that are recruiting you?
It's small talk. Every once in a while, especially like at dinner or something, we'll talk about seeing where we best fit at, all 3 of us. But it's been small talk, and seeing where we all fit. If there's an opportunity for all 3 of us, it's definitely a talk that should be had. But it's just see what happens.
And I'm assuming there's probably a lot of times you're not talking about recruiting, which is probably nice, right?
Yeah, it's definitely just to hang around and just not talk about all the recruitment process. Cause, it's different for every AAU teammate, and I feel like if you just show that basketball outside of basketball, you can do that too. So.
How much more comfortable are you now just kind of talking to coaches, talking to, developing those relationships, kind of getting to know? I mean, is that easier for you now maybe than it was a year ago?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a year ago it was like, I got less phone calls than what I do now, but it was definitely nerve-wracking. I feel like I've adjusted to it and I've gotten used to it. So, I just like building relationships with all the coaches.
And with this, this new process, I mean, are you thinking like, there might be a certain number of schools I want to get it down to at some point to make this easier for yourself, or?
So I may cut it down to 7, but it's not the final line I have yet. But that's just like a good number that I feel like that should have. So.
And what at this point, the schools that are recruiting you, I mean, have you kind of got to a point where you kind of know those schools pretty well? Like, all right, this is what I like about that school, or like IU, for instance, or some of those.
Yeah, there's for sure. Every school has something different that I like, but there's like they always ask the question, what do you like need to know, what it's like best. So, I definitely go off the culture piece and the opportunity to play. Those are the 2 things I tell every coach, and I feel like those are the 2 main things for me.
And we were talking a little while ago. Your junior year ended, unfortunately, with you not being healthy, and you weren't able to kind of go 100% for sure in that sectional. How are you feeling now with everything, and what's your health status look like?
I've been way better than since the last sectional game, and I took probably a month or 2 off from basketball or physical activity, and I feel like I've gotten healthier over time. I have these little injuries that'll happen every once in a while, but the back doesn't really hurt anymore. So hopefully that stays like that.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Braylon Mullins. Recruitment's we'll probably have to do more updates soon because his recruitment's really blowing up. But appreciate you joining me here.
Yes, sir.